Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a foundation review. These are my favorite things to do on my channel. I am obsessed with all things complexion. This one's a little extra special and I'll tell you why in just a little bit, but I'm talking about the Lanco Tinty Doll. This is the Care and Glow foundation. It has SPF 27 and we're going to test it out. If you're interested in seeing how it works on my oily skin, age 40 plus honey, and how it wears throughout the day, keep watching. Okay, so thank you so much for clicking on my video. I will tell you that the reason why this is a little extra special and immediately I jumped on this was because for many years, and I've told this story a couple times, but just indulge me. For many years, before I started becoming obsessed with complexion products, my holy grail foundation was the Lanco Tinty Doll. And that's a more mattifying, more full coverage foundation. And I used it for like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years. Then one day I started to notice that like I had like, it was looking a little dry and a little rough around this area here. And I couldn't figure out why. It didn't look good. It made me look older, blah, blah, blah. I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube, wanted to figure out why I was looking so dry and crinkly here. And it turns out it wasn't the foundation. It was actually me aging and not having the proper skincare, but we fixed all that. And so I never really went back to that Lancome foundation. I felt like it was just too mattifying as I got older. Now that was in my Cali days. I lived in California for 40 years and it's a drier climate. I lived in the high desert. Here in Texas, it's humid, it's hot. And my skin, it took a couple years, but it went from normal to now oily combination skin. And so I should probably give that one a try. But because it was a holy grail for so long, that's why I was so excited about this one. This one just released and it says that it is a Care and Glow up to 24 hours healthy glow skincare foundation. So it's going to have some yummy stuff for your skin. It does have SPF 27. Don't rely on that. I actually prep my skin with my Supergoop Unseen sunscreen. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. I have worn it for a couple days, but I was really sick and I really wasn't up to filming. And so I do have some thoughts that I've formed though for you. Now, the shade that I picked up is in the shade 330N, so 330 neutral. I will tell you that it was really hard to pick a shade online. I'm usually pretty good at like eyeing the shades and seeing the undertones, and I'm always pretty spot on with my shade matching, even if I'm buying online, but this one was a little difficult. Like the higher numbers you would think would be darker, but some of them were lighter. And then, I don't know, I couldn't figure it out. I went with 330N, and I will tell you it's a little bit light for me. It does bronze up nicely, so I'm kind of considering just keeping it so that I don't have to have two shades, because it will wear really nicely during the winter months when I lose some of my color. And maybe for the summer, we'll do what I'm going to do today. Now, it says that this is an up to 24-hour transfer-resistant, healthy-looking glow serum foundation with buildable medium coverage, an SPF 27, plus hyaluronic acid and mandelic acid to hydrate and smooth skin for natural-looking glow finish. It's a medium coverage, the finish is natural, and yeah, it should be a really nice foundation. That kind of got me because even though I'm oily skin type, I still like to hydrate my skin. So the hyaluronic acid is really good for that. And then mandelic acid, I learned about that when I started using the skincare by Hiram. He has a really nice mandelic acid. And so I thought, you know what, this might be really nice for my large pores. When you have oily skin, your pores tend to be a little bit larger. And so this might be really refining and smoothing. It is nice and creamy and it does have a fragrance, you guys. Don't have the best sense of smell, and I've been sick. So for me to be able to smell it, it has a very strong perfumey scent. A lot of luxury brands do that. I don't know why. It is very 2022 not to have fragrance. Honestly, when I smell fragrance in like Lancome or some of the other luxury brands, it just makes me, like, it reminds me of my grandma. It smells like an old lady smell. But that's what I think about that. Now, what I'm going to do, because this is just a little bit too light for me right now, is I don't want to change the formulation of the foundation. So I'm going going to put in my Drunk Elephant De-Bronzy drops. These are really good. It also has some good skincare in there for you, but it doesn't change the formulation at all, which is what I like. I just want to bronze it up a little bit so that we have a good match. So that's what I have there. I'm just going to mix it in a little bit. Yeah, that bronzed up beautifully. That looks like it matches a lot better now. I'm going to do this side of my face with no primer, and then the other side of my face I'm going to do with the Hourglass Vanish primer. This is one of my favorites right now. I already have thoughts on that. I already did it with and without primer, but I want you to tell me in the comments what you think looks a little bit better, and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end. But what I do is I just kind of dot and just kind of go in with my fingers. Honestly, this takes me back to like 2016, 2015 when I used to use the other Lanco one. I wasn't very sophisticated with my makeup application or anything else. And I just used my fingers, and I always felt like it looked really skin-like. So that's what I'm going to do. So I think you can kind of tell like where the coverage is and where it's not. It looks really good with the De-Bronzy as you bronze it up a little bit there. I think I'm going to build up just a little bit of coverage here. This is where I have a little bit of discoloration. Now I'm going to go in with my primer on this side. This is such a nice blurring primer. It's not extremely mattifying like I hear some people say. At least not for me, but it's just really blurring, really, really nice. And it doesn't dry your skin either. Okay, I gave it about 30 seconds for the primer to set in. It sets in really nicely, really fast. And now I'm gonna go in. Once I'm done going in with my fingers, I usually just like press everything in with the sponge. I know some people are like cringing right now because they don't like using their fingers. The other 2 days that I tried this on, I did go in with a brush once. It worked just fine. This is just my preference here. I'm gonna build it up a little bit here, although the side with the primer, I feel like I didn't have to build it up as much. Taking a damp sponge and just pressing everything in. I'm going to use the rest that's on my hand on my neck. Okay, so that's what it looks like on. Again, this is the side without primer. This is the side with primer. And I wanted to show you something. I hope that the camera is picking up on this. But do you see there? You can still see the pores. It doesn't seep into pores or fine lines, which is great, but it didn't blur them either. This side with the Hourglass primer, it's just so obvious how blurring that primer is versus this side. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, normally, let me zoom you out. Normally, I would prep my face with primer every single day anyway, so it's not a big deal as long as it looks pretty with the primer. But I wanted to show you the difference because some people don't use primer every day. I do, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm more concerned about like how it looks, the wear time, is it transfer resistant, all those things. But I wanted to point that out. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. We'll start the wear time now, and we'll probably do like an 8-hour wear time or wear test. It's 12:30 right now, so let's start it now. I'll be back in just a bit. Okay guys, so I have all my makeup now. This eye look is coming on Sunday. It's one of the looks that I'm working on with the Primal Blends Bunnies palette, but here is the complexion. Let me bring you in. Okay, so as you can see, you can see a little bit of glow come through. This is more of a natural finish. The foundation looks great. I will say that I do like it better on the side with the primer, and I think I kind of, you know, was alluding to that before I put on my makeup, but this is the way that it looks. Now, it looks really, really good, you guys. I'll share my final thoughts at the end of the video. Again, we started the wear test about an hour ago. We're gonna just go about our day. I have a busy day. I'm going to film another video. I'm going to do a couple TikToks. I am going to go see my husband, and I have to wear a mask when I go, so we'll test that out as well. And I will see you maybe around the 5-hour check-in to see how we're doing. But yeah, what do you think so far? Hi guys, it's the end of the night. I wasn't able to check in at the 5-hour mark. I tried, but I got this weird message on my phone to my editing software that I couldn't take a high def to a standard definition, which it's never done that before. So anyway, I'll tell you how that went. At the 5-hour mark, I was somewhat dewy, but the foundation still was looking pretty good. It looked exactly the same on both sides. And I had worn a mask to get in to see my husband. And there was some transfer, okay? I had not set with too much powder, so the transfer I think was a part of the foundation. Then I put my mask on again as I was leaving the hospital, and more transfer. Now I'm gonna zoom you in so that you can see what's going on my face, and then we'll talk through it. Okay, so I can see in my viewfinder, so I think you can see it too. I am, a little bit of an oil slick. Look at how gross that is. I have so much oil production. Both sides look the same. It doesn't matter if it's the one without primer, with primer, they're still both so freaking oily. Look at my forehead. It is so gross. It doesn't feel heavy, and I don't have that feeling like I want to take it off, but it's pretty nasty. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to blot, because a really important part of the foundation review for me is I want to be able to know that 5-6 hours later, if I want to touch up to head into another meeting or to an event or a lunch with a client, that I don't look like an oil slick, but at the same time that it doesn't pull my makeup off. And so let's go ahead and blot. Yeah, that's just like one pass. Okay, this has not happened in quite some time. It has happened before on my channel where it's like, holy shit, am I gonna need more than one blotting sheet? And this is one of those times. As you can see here, just for my forehead, the entire paper, which it's a pretty big size, my entire blotting sheet has been saturated just from my forehead. Let me inspect my forehead. Okay, it is blotting beautifully, meaning it's not pulling any foundation off. It looks brand new up there right now. Okay, I have saturated an entire second sheet, okay? Let me go in with a third because we want to fully touch it up and see how it's going to look. There's the third blotting sheet. I'm going to take a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury and just touch up. See how it looks afterwards. Okay, so that touched up beautifully. I'll bring you in so you can see. So that's what we're looking like now. I feel like I lost just a tiny bit of coverage on my nose, but it's been about almost 9 hours. But everywhere else, it did touch up nicely. And, with the powder and everything, it looks fine. Yeah, maybe just like on the very tip of the nose, I feel like I lost a little bit of coverage, but everywhere else looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Final thoughts. All right, so like I said, I wore this foundation the first time for 6 hours, the second time I wore it for 8 hours. The only difference with those 2 days versus today is that I didn't go out. Like, I was around the house doing stuff. I was blowing my nose. So that's why I thought I had lost coverage in this area. I was kind of sick, so I was laying down. I would get up, maybe make something to eat, walk around a little bit. Today I feel like I really put it to the test. I live in the Texas humid, hot climate right now. I went out, I put a mask on twice. I ran around and did some editing, did some house stuff, like all kinds of stuff. And so I really put it to the test. And to be honest, for me, you guys, it is going to be a no. So I want to share something. So the other day I was watching Charlotte Holdcroft. Do you guys watch her? Let me know down below if you watch her. She is hilarious. She's a creator from the UK. She focuses mostly on luxury beauty, and she is just the sweetest person ever. I really love her. I'll link her channel and this specific video down below. But a couple days ago, she had a video uploaded, and the name of the series is You Don't Need That. It's basically an anti-haul or not gonna buy it type of video, and she talks through every new product so that you can lose some of that FOMO, and she explains why you don't need it, right? When she got to this foundation, she's like, let's just start right off the bat with this Lanco foundation. This is an easy pass. If you have a shade in Illuminate, if you have any other type of glowy formula, you don't need this foundation. This foundation literally is going to be like everything else. And so you can maybe wait for a sale, or you can wait until you run out of a foundation and then replace it with this one if you'd like. But she gave like 5 or 6 different options as to why we didn't need this foundation. I think I had like 5 of those foundations, even with my oily skin, but I still felt like I needed it. And I just have to tell you that she was absolutely right. You don't need this foundation. Now, yes, I think that I can do like my oily skin prep, you know, where I do powder after each layer, but that's a bit finicky, you guys. Even when I don't do that routine, I am not totally saturating 3 blotting sheets. Like, this is just too much. Nobody has time for this. I did not blot all day long, but it means that I probably would have had to blot, if it was a normal 15-hour workday for me, at least twice, maybe 3 times. I don't want to do that. I don't have time for that. I have foundations that perform much better. Up to and including the #1 de Chanel, the Camellia Flower Foundation, which is another alternative that she named to this one. And I don't even have to do it with that one. So for me, it's a pass. It's a bit too finicky for me. Honestly, this is so gross. This hasn't happened in so long. This is so gross that I probably am going to return it. And I don't like to return stuff. Like, I like to keep it for future reference, or maybe it'll work in the winter, blah, blah, blah. Nah. This is not even going to work in the winter. And so what I want to tell you, there are some reviews out there with people that have oily skin that absolutely loved it. And sometimes that would really mess with me. Like, why doesn't it work for me? What am I doing wrong? I'm doing nothing wrong. Everybody's skin is different. Everybody's chemistry will react differently to different formulations. This just doesn't work for me. I will tell you that, I mean, the name says it all, the Teint Idole Care and Glow. Healthy Glow Foundation. An oily skin girl probably has no business getting this foundation, spending their money on it. Like, maybe use the regular Teint Idole by Lancome. That's a beautiful foundation. Maybe stick with your Dior Backstage Body and Face Foundation. Maybe go with your MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation. Those are all beautiful foundations. The Dior Matte Foundation. Beautiful foundations that don't look overly matte, that are not overly drying, for oily skin, that work beautifully. So for me, I don't like to be negative on my channel, but I always like to be honest, because this stuff is expensive. It's like $47, $46, and I really don't think it's worth it. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, definitely give me a like. Make sure and subscribe if you haven't already done this. We like to talk a lot about luxury beauty, indie beauty, skincare sometimes. Sometimes we have makeup and chills, which is our live stream. And if that's your thing, subscribe. All right, guys, I hope this was useful. Leave me a comment down below letting me know if you're going to pick this up or not. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!